sleeping over with us. And then second, we say, what can I do that would make a difference for Ben, for your business, for White Cloud? Like, how can we help?
The big ask would be to scan the QR code on the last slide and set up a time so that I can pick your brain about what you want in a subscription and how much you would pay. That's the big ask.
Deal. So I've got the QR code. I will put it up. I may have made it more complicated by transitioning. Oops. So here's the big ask. I'll stick it right back here. Everybody can scan it. Come scan for coffee. I'll keep it up both during and after. So
Thanks, Rob.
of course, sorry for going early.
All good.
Everybody wants it now. Okay, so it'll be sitting here right next to your coffee. Let's give Ben a big round of applause. I've never used the hotel concierge. I don't know why, but maybe.
Just hammer them. You paid for it, right? You paid your money for a room. They provide that service. Just use it.
Yeah. Well, after today, I'm rethinking my whole strategy. So thank you. You're welcome. We'll figure it out. Okay, up next, Alicia's here, and she is been part of the community. She's been talking about her big event coming up. So hopefully you've seen her online, and I don't know what else to say without stealing any thunder, but let's give her a big round of applause.
All right, thanks you guys. So a lot of you guys see me wearing these red shoes or see me wearing this. This is where it stems from. Okay, I was a teacher from 2008 to 2022. And I wrote this book for my students. I taught 9th grade English. And so people think I'm crazy teaching teenagers. I absolutely loved it. And one of the things that I knew that they needed were tools to be their own heroes. And so all of this follows Joseph Campbell's work of the hero's journey, put into very digestible information for kids to be able to look at, relate to their life, and then apply it to whatever situation that they are doing. So I know there are a couple of these going around, but I have these out here for you guys to do. So the red sneakers, this is where it started from. Little did I know that these red shoes would turn into the symbol of hope, perseverance, bravery, courage with every step that kids take, and even adults as well. So I have the Hope Hero, which I have a for-profit and a nonprofit. On your chairs, you guys saw that there is an event coming up. It's called the Red Sneaker Gala. And what we're doing, we get dressed up, fancy, but I will be wearing these shoes right here. So red sneakers is what you're going to wear to it. If you don't have them, it's okay. Show up anyway, just being there. So our mission with everything, and I'm going to see how this goes with it. So our mission is to catch kids before they fall and prevent suicide by proactively preparing them to become heroes of their own stories. I don't believe we have suicide prevention. I did suicide prevention in the schools for 6 years. We have crisis intervention. We are waiting till we see the signs of someone who is struggling, or if they're if they're struggling, or maybe we notice things about them, right? And then we're going, okay, I think I'm going to refer you to the crisis line. If we are constantly in crisis and saying crisis, 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 how does that make you feel? Right? In your gut, you're like, ugh. If we continue to stay in the problem, we will continue to repeat the problem. We need to focus on the solutions. We need to focus on the proactive preparation for that. And I've created some tools to do that. So let me go over some of that. I know some of the tools are out there. I have workbooks K through 12th grade. I was a teacher. It stemmed from this book, parents saying, how can I apply this and have my kids be more interactive with doing these and taking these proactive steps? So I created the teen version, and then more parents said, well, we need to do this for our littles. And I said, you're right. So I've created different programs, mentorships, all of that to be able to prepare kids so that not only with their mindset, their heart set, their soul set, and their health set. So there's 4 different directions directions that we go with that, where I teach kids the hero's compass as well as parents, because we need to build the trifecta. That is one of the things with therapy. Okay, my background, my degree's in psychology and English, and then my master's degree is in educational leadership. I could very easily get a certification to become a psychologist. I'm not doing that. One of the reasons I left the classroom was the red tape. Okay, saying I can't do this, I can't say that. My last year of teaching, I saved 2 kids' lives outside my classroom. And in the news, that could have been, she touched a child, she held a child, right? I will do what is right for that child, no matter what it is. And so one of the things that we need to shift in the mental health world is having the parents and the kids know the foundational tools for that. So with the programs that I do, I work with the child and the parent. So whether it's one-on-one coaching, group coaching, the child and the parent are both going to be involved, so that when that child goes home, they know the support and the tools to be able to help their child and support them. So the purpose of the Hope Hero is to bridge the gap in the mental health field by providing proactive tools and support that will decrease anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide attempts, and death by suicide of our younger generations. Suicide is the leading cause of death for ages 7 to 24 here in Utah. We lose someone almost 11 hours every single day here in Utah by suicide. Not just littles, not teens, okay? But in the last a week and a half, I personally know about 3 teens who have taken their life, okay? So if you don't think this is happening in your backyard, you're just not aware of it. It's happening, okay? And there are more attempts made, about 9 times more attempts made than those who die by suicide. So just recognize and realize that even if you're not seeing it or hearing it, it's happening. And so we need to proactively do something instead of waiting till crisis to try and put Band-Aids on things. So our future impact, I want to create communities of youth who are thriving. They will display increased happiness, connection, self-confidence, communication skills, creative solutions for coping, and the courage to live their best lives, no matter what challenges are placed before them. Vision is to be the movement of hope, of courage, of bravery, and with every step. And that's what these shoes represent right here. So with the foundation, this is one of the things that I give out everywhere I go to speak. The foundation comes in when there are families who cannot afford the services that I provide, or schools or classrooms, and collaborating with other nonprofits and those doing charity work. So these shoes represent being the hero of your own story. It's a positive way to bring about the awareness that, hey, we do have some things going on, but you are capable of being that own hero. So how we are working on doing some of these things: community partnerships, speaking engagements, community events. I've got giveaways, adventures, mentorship programs, workbooks, books, and then products and apparel that we are going to be working on doing. Then I just kind of go into some of these different things where we want to collaborate with people. That's one of the big missions and things that I want to be able to do, is get in person and let's fill places with the kids and the parents. And we obviously would break these up. We'd have the ages 5 to 10 split up. I'd have teens and tweens we could do at the same time, unless we have a higher grade level, like 15 plus or 16 plus, but I want the parents there. I have very interactive things, these workbooks are getting into schools, so connections that way. I've done a lot of different speaking, community events. We have the Red Sneaker Gala. We have different giveaways. We have the Hope Hero Pledge that is coming into place right now, that these will have little QR codes on the back of them to take that pledge that you are promised to be the hero in your own story. I am on a mission to be able to partner with Converse, so wish me luck on that they will be sponsoring and doing that, because I advertise for free for them. So, win-win in my opinion. So we have different mentorship programs with parents, with kids, boot camps. I'm going to change that to hero camps because I like that better. More mentorship programs, self-guided group. I've talked about some of those things. The books, the workbooks, products, apparel. I'm not going to read the executive summary of that if you guys want to look on there. So a lot of times people ask me, well, what got you into this? Because people don't get into this just because, you know, everything was great. I know what it's like to have a child who doesn't want to live. And that little boy was 7 years old when that took place. 7, yeah. It's happening. And that was years ago. That little boy is now a 19-year-old man who just went and played college football out in California this last season. So going from a little boy who didn't want to be here, who didn't think he was worth it, to a boy who is living his dream. That was the first time I left the classroom, was to go home and save my own child's life. Then again in 2016, my sister-in-law took her life. She was a second mom to my kids. We joked around that we had joint custody. That's when I shifted everything I did in the classrooms to make sure that those kids knew that no matter what was going on with their academic, their behavioral, whatever it was, that they knew they mattered and their life was important no matter what. So every year for the last 6 years, I gave those kids a high five every single day, every single kid. 6 years. And there were so many times that they'd write and say, do you know what? You were the only person who saw me that day. You were the only positive interaction that I had. These kids are walking around in a crowd of people and never being seen. We need to change this. We need to see each other, be aware of each other. And then in 2022, I ended up leaving the classroom, and I'm not going to go into the story behind that. You guys can, there's podcasts, different things where I go into that, but I did have a traumatic event in my classroom where I lost my dad. Yes, in my classroom. I won't go over the details of that, but that was the catalyst to say, Alicia, it's time to fly. It's time to spread your wings. You don't need to teach in the way that I thought you were going to. I thought I'd be an administrator, and it turns out, you know, they're just kind of the minions of the uppers who say, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I don't like following all the rules anyway. I like doing what is best for kids and families, because it's what's best for kids and families. So that is part of what I'm doing. You guys, I'm here to proactively prepare kids to be their own heroes. And by doing that, we can prevent suicide, but we cannot wait until someone is in crisis mode to do that. We have to do it before a crisis hits. And then there's tools and methods after someone is through some of that crisis and they've gotten the medical and professional help, that we have programs that can support them in rising again and never going back to that. So thank you, you guys. That's questions, and we'll go through that.
Thoughts, feedback, questions? Oz has got one.
Can you go into a little bit more about your upcoming gala?
Yes. So on the flyers, you guys have that here. So on February 3rd, that's the gala. I would love your support at that, you guys. It's a party with a purpose. You guys will end up hearing from one of my former students 2 years ago. She's one of the students that I saved her life after school. She would have taken her life that day. And she is going to be sharing her story for the very first time. So this is a 17-year-old girl. She's in 11th grade, and she is going to share her story, what she's learned, and to inspire everyone with that. So this is going to be up in Syracuse. Tickets are $75, you guys. Like dinner, DJ, a party, there's photos, all sorts of stuff, and it's for an incredible cause to really bring communities together. That's what I'm asking for, is the support of you guys or friends or families coming, showing up and being there to say, do you know what? This matters, and let's do it a little bit different. Was that good enough, Oz? So there are sponsorship opportunities. We have lots of different levels, different areas of support, whether it's from a table sponsorship all the way up to $20,000 sponsorship that we have. We just received a $10,000 sponsorship from Prague Foundation, which is absolutely incredible to be able to focus on the programming and getting this out there to those families and kids who can't afford what we're doing.
Can we ask, this sounds like a hard business to run,
Yes.
because there's a lot of moving pieces, the customer, can be tricky. You add in the healthcare components that make it hard to deal with. Can you talk a little bit about what's working about the business and what's hard about the business?
Yes. So what has been working is honestly the group coaching, being in front of people, doing the combined with the child and the parent. I do one-on-ones, and I really only have capacity. I keep about 8 clients is all. Okay, so I don't want to overrun that. So what will happen, I do 30-minute increments because honestly, these kids and teens, how old's your little guy? 6. Okay, so I have a 7-year-old client, and a lot of you guys think, oh my gosh, 7 years old, that's just like way too young. No, it's not, because these parents are being proactive. They're saying, I'm seeing my son getting bullied. I'm seeing him have less confidence, being afraid, fighting at the playground, all of those things. Those are the things that we work on. And so what I do is I spend about 15, 20 minutes with the child, and then 15 to 20 minutes with the parent going over, hey, here's what we discussed, here's the steps. I call them daily directions, where it's like the research has shown that in mini and micro increments, that's when true change takes place. So small things that are actionable to be able to implement that week. The one-on-ones are working great. I think some of the challenges I am facing is, honestly, you guys, I haven't made a dime. Okay, I've made enough to be able to pay the website stuff, pay this, and keep going with it. What's hard, and what I'm finding difficult is getting all of those into the classes, or being able to do all of this on my own. I have a business partner, my husband helps, my mom helps. Right now it's kind of like little family run stuff that we're doing. Everyone's saying, I want to help. Can you train me? Can you coach me? And I'm looking into, okay, how do I certify people to do this? There's obviously going to be background checks. There's going to be like, do you have the credibility? Do you have the skills and the tool set to be able to talk to these kids and do that? And so one of the big things that I want to do, and is a challenge, is getting people in a group like this and doing interactive stuff, because when you have an experience with something, that is when you can change more. So I do the online, all of that. There's so many, you're right, there's lots of moving parts that it's just figuring out, okay, what's going to work, and go all in with that.
Great, thanks for sharing.
You mentioned kind of the community partnerships and other things. Just curious as to what do you find are some of the main blockers in getting in with schools, with other partnerships? What are the things, I guess, not to air like rejections, but like what is making it hard to get in the door, or to form those partnerships? What are the challenges?
I think the biggest challenge is that people don't make decisions until it is crisis, right? We're a very reactive instead of responsive community, right? I am almost out of district. I have a meeting with them. It's actually where I worked. And a lot of times, because teachers, they're overwhelmed. So a lot of times with that. But what I've created I have workbooks for the teachers as well. So it's helping their mental health along the journey of improving their students' mental health and the community with it. So it's really getting to the right people. I'm making moves and doing that, but I'm playing the long game. I know this works. I have a lot of the curriculum that I've created. I used it the last 6 years of my teaching. One of the things that I do have going for me is that I was an educator for as long as I was. And when I started implementing these things, so I did 9th grade English, my last 6 years of teaching, my students scored the highest in the district on end of levels at 2 different schools. So there's a big correlation between putting the mental health needs of kids first and their academic success. So getting into the schools, that's where we're going to make the biggest mass change with things, because it will be the trifecta of having the schools, the kids, and the parents involved. And I've got a whole thing of support and like ideas of how I want to run it, but I just know I'm not able to do it alone, and nor do I want to do this alone.
We have an online question, so we'll figure that out. And while we're waiting for them to pull up and unmute, whoever is asking a question, don't forget to unmute. Do you know Roots Charter School?
No.
So Tyler is the principal over there, a friend of mine.
Hi, can you hear me today?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my question is, how do you teach these kids that have been survivors of suicide? How do you teach them to deal with victimization? Because if someone in their school, a bully hears that, okay, this kid wanted to commit suicide, how do you teach the kid to deal with something like that?
So let me make sure I heard you correctly. So after someone has been bullied or attempted, how do we rebuild their confidence in themselves?
Yes, that's one part of the question. The second part of the question is, let me use an example now. So a kid named Tommy, for example, now, survived suicide, and then he's bullied in school. Sam hears about it and bullies him because of the incident. How do you make Tommy deal with the whole situation of the victimization he's getting from Sam?
Yeah, and that's hard. And sometimes there are kids who are just complete a-holes, right? You know, like we need to teach our other, like many times when someone is bullying someone else, it has nothing to do with the kid getting bullied. It has everything to do with the lack of self-confidence that that person bullying has. And that is one of those things. But the program that I've developed, it's the Hero's Compass, and it's really empowering that child, that Tommy, to believe in himself and know that he has the capabilities to be his own hero. We go over the 4 directions of it. One is connection with self and others, okay, making that connection. The second one is communication. So that's going to be communicating honestly with yourself and communicating with those around you, setting up those boundaries, setting up a lot of the goals. Okay, so connection, communication, then confidence is one of the directions as well. Building that self-confidence, and there's different skills, different tools that we're able to use to be able to practice that with the child. And then the 4th direction is courage in your mental and physical well-being. And so it encompasses all of those things. There's not a one and done something where you're just going to magically, everybody thinks it's like one big event that is going to change and consistent happen, but it's every single day, those small, simple things that you do on a consistent basis, and having mentors and people who believe in you and support you, knowing that, do you know what, there are going to be bullies. I've been bullied as an adult. I was bullied 2 months ago. I got laughed at with what I'm doing. Okay, there are always going to be bullies, so it's building that resilience to know that those bullies in the long run do not get to decide who I am going to be or what I get to do. And it's instilling that confidence in that child. Does that take time? Yes. Is it possible? Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. It seems like a really big movement, so I can see how passionate you are about it. Making money at it's definitely hard, right? So you wouldn't be the first person that has a big mission and does a lot of good, but hasn't quite dialed in how to make money, because sometimes they're counterproductive to one another, not always. So happy to chat to try to help find some of those levers.
Yeah.
But they're out there.
I know. They are. They're somewhere.
Yeah. So keep up the good work. Thanks for making time to share. Upcoming gala, February 3rd. So
Yeah.
that sounds like a big one. You get your own magic mug today. I love all your swag. We've got some of our own.
Yes.
With it comes the big question, what can we do that would make a difference for you, Alicia, and what you're up to?
Yeah. Honestly, I think supporting at the gala is going to be one of the biggest steps with that. And then setting up sometimes to say, hey, I can get a group together. I can get a group together. And let's just start in small ways of gathering people and spreading the word to be able to do that. So come to the gala and spread the word. Like if you guys enjoyed any of this today, like shout something out on social media. Like it's one person away from saving someone's life. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also have one of these for each one of you guys, so that you guys can take this and just have that reminder and remember that you are the hero of your own story. If you have a child, someone you want to give that to, then I have extras, okay?
Awesome. Thank you. And also why you're not making money, but we appreciate it. Jake, if you toss my slide back up, I did put Ben's QR code. So if you didn't get a chance, there's Ben's QR code. Alicia's got her flyers around. I did send this to somebody and they said, well, none of our contact info's on it. So on the QR part? Okay. I was lost on him, I think. So I think I connected you guys via LinkedIn. But he wanted to reach out, yeah. All the things. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Happy Wednesday. Thanks to Ben and Alicia for presenting and sharing. Thanks y'all for being here. Thanks to our friends at Underbelly and Danielle for making stuff happen. Utah Tech Week next week, lots of events, so check some out. We'll be here on Wednesday like we are most Wednesdays, so we're here unless there's like some crazy snowstorm or like a holiday on the day or plus or minus, so most days we're here. So if you can't join, hit us up on Mingle. Thanks to Jake and all the folks joining us online, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. We got up to 11, so that's pretty good. It feels like a record. So thanks for asking questions, and happy Wednesday. See you all next week, hopefully. Yeah.